The Tea Party Caucus. And joining me now, Republican Congressman Steve King of Iowa, member of the House Tea Party Caucus. Thank you so much, Congressman, for joining me.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Okay, so in our first read, our political team puts it this way. This is a Hail Mary punt, if you will. It enables President Obama and Wall Street to escape from default, and more importantly, provides an escape for Speaker John Boehner, since he can't figure out which pledge to ask his members to break. What is your reaction to this proposal, and does it give cover to Speaker Boehner from Republicans like yourself who are not happy about what Mitch McConnell had to say?
Well, my first reaction was handing this over to President Obama would be putting the fox in the henhouse. He is a Keynesian economist on steroids who believes that Franklin Delano Roosevelt's only failure was he failed to borrow and spend enough money. And so I wouldn't be willing to give the president that authority in order to get off of this pressure cooker that we're in. We need the pressure. We need the brinksmanship. This is a point in history where we have an opportunity to actually make real progress on putting pieces in place to restrain this overspending in this government. And if we dodge it, if we step away from it, if we kick the can down the road, this moment may be lost. And it was lost in 1995, or we wouldn't be here today.
If this president is the fox in the henhouse, what were the Republicans when they ran up the deficit? What were they, foxes then, sir?
Oh, I kind of know about that. In the middle of the Iraq War, we had a deficit of about $160 billion. Now we have an Obama deficit of $1.6 trillion. So maybe there are 10 foxes in the henhouse instead of one now. And
what do you believe should be the next logical move here, especially with the perception that if this is a white flag, it's a white flag that helped the Speaker, even as well as the administration, but also, again, the key point here is that it helps Speaker Boehner, who may be in trouble?
Well, you know, I introduced today, along with Michelle Bachmann and Congressman Louis Gohmert of Texas, a piece of legislation that guarantees that our troops are paid on time every time and that we service our national debt. That would take about 15.2% of our incoming revenue of the part that is not borrowed money. That needs to happen so that our troops and their families know they're not going to be a political pawn. And it needs to happen also so that we maintain the full faith and credit of the American government in the global finances and in the domestic finances that we have. Beyond that, I'll step up and say cut, cap, and balance. That's something that is very legitimate, that I think has a reasonable chance of getting 218 votes in the House. And you couple that with, at a very minimum, first I would repeal Obamacare, but at a very minimum, we don't need to be putting $23.6 billion into the implementation of it while the Supreme Court is waiting to make a decision that the president's delaying. There's lots of pieces of this.
There are lots of pieces, and one of them, of course, is the priorities for the Republicans. Is it really deficit and debt here? When you had the president with this $4 trillion deficit reduction on the table, the Republicans said that they were not interested in this deal. So this is one of the observations that's out there, is that the GOP cares about low taxes and shrinking government, and that the deficit and the debt are only a means to that end, that is really not the priority that you and others are espousing.
I can tell you that when I came to this Congress 8.5 years ago, one of the first things I did was went to the chairman of the Budget Committee and said, where's my balanced budget? I've worked for a balanced budget all of these years. I've been an original co-sponsor of a balanced budget constitutional amendment all of these years, and I've voted against hundreds of billion dollars, probably trillions of dollars in spending over that period of time. I think that there are many members that stand where I do on this, on the economic and fiscal side. We want a balanced budget. We don't want to raise taxes and kill the goose that lays the golden egg. And one of the things I'd say to add to the Republican dialogue is to the question of where are the jobs. Behind that is this question: where are the profits? Businesses have to be able to at least anticipate profits before they can create jobs. And if you're going to punish their profits by taxing them, increasing taxes with 9.2% unemployment, it would be the wrong thing to do. So really where we're in is now is that the president has taken the Keynesian tack. And I'm an Adam Smith free market economist, not a Keynesian economist. He doesn't have many choices because his have all failed. We need to shift to the other side of this and go to a period of austerity, get our spending under control, and shrink our government. Then we'll be back to prosperity again.
Well, Congressman King, thank you so much for joining us. We were hoping to get you yesterday. Happy we got you in today, and thank you so much.
Sorry I missed you yesterday.
No problem.